Okay, let's see. So we have the Right Reverend is here. And, Hebrew contingent. Any Lutherans out there? Any Lutherans? I'm the only Lutheran?
Oh, I
I grew
am.
up Lutheran.
You're Lutheran, Tracy?
Oh. Most just don't want to admit it, William.
I'm recovering.
Yeah.
Recovering Lutheran, yeah.
Yes.
William, did you say that the DNA test said you were white?
Yeah.
I would have taken you more for rye.
Oh,
That was good.
That was a pun and very nice, Dan. Oh. Wow, I got competition here.
That's a high standard there, William.
Yeah, all right, let's get this show on the road. And I got your message about your back, Joy, so just take care.
Thank you. Okay, good.
Of course.
William,
Hi.
I've got a pulled groin, I think. I'm working on a pulled groin, so I've got it wrapped. And I also have a sore arm. I got my vaccination yesterday, so.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
You're not kicking the dog, are you?
No.
Maybe Steve, huh?
Yes, Steve, yes.
That's
Mr. Silver.
He needs a good swift kick in the butt now and then.
More than one.
More than one. All right. Does anybody else have anything to say before we? Oh, good. There's Madar. Hi. All right. Away we go. Sitting naturally at ease, spine loosely straight. Just rest naturally in awareness. You can be aware without even meditating. In fact, you are. That spontaneous, natural awareness to the experience of the breath taking place. So breath arises and takes place naturally, effortlessly as well. Sahavitu Sahaviryam Karavavai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. 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 Yogena Chitatsya Padena Vacham Malam Sharirasya Chavaitakena Yopa Karatam Pravaram Muninam Patanjalim Pranjaliranatasmi Avahu Purushakaram Shankachakrasiddharinam Sahasrashir Samsvetam Pranamami Patanjalim. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om Tat Sat.
William,
Yes, please.
I have a question about like meditation. So, so I noticed that I was paying attention to the fact that I had a question. And then I noticed, so then, Pratyahara, just withdrawing, withdrawing attention to the sense gates. And then, anyway, can you describe, what's the difference between noticing awareness and attention? Is awareness attention, paying attention? That was my question that I was noticing that I was aware of.
There's a difference between mind and awareness.
Oh, okay.
The mind can pay attention to various things, right?
Yes.
You can pay attention to thinking, hearing, seeing, tasting, and smelling,
Yes.
and body sensation. But are you aware of paying attention to one of those sense gates? What you can notice is the mind is always moving. Most of the time it's going from this to this to this to this, right?
Yes.
But awareness never moves, never wavers. It's that which illuminates the very process of thinking, knowing, touching, tasting, smelling. There's a difference between mind and it depends on, I'm talking about the small m mind, not nature of mind. Nature of mind is awareness. The mind, by its very nature, has the inherent ability to cognize or know effortlessly, right? But what are you paying attention to, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's answering your question. Everybody else has fallen asleep. But other than that,
That answers my question.
are you aware that you fell asleep?
Thank you.
But I was listening to a talk by Minya Rinpoche this morning. Even dullness or a wandering mind arises within the stability of awareness itself. One image he gave once is the mind is like, awareness is like the flagpole. Stable, unwavering, doesn't move. The mind is like the flag. It might be limp, dull, lethargic. It might be kind of waving in the breeze, or it might be, there might be a really strong breeze and the flag is out. So maybe use all these metaphors, The mind moves, awareness never moves. Awareness knows or illuminates the mind. It's like a light bulb, right? It illuminates the content of what's in the room, in the space, in the mind. They use words like prakash, right, V? Prakash? And illumination, right? All right, okay, I'm getting carried away. Are you aware of being irritated by my pontification? Janet is. Okay, very good. Okay, let us be aware of our downward dog. Oh, hi Faith, I didn't see you there. Nice to see you again. Adho mukha svanasana. So we all have this little, wiggle around as we start our down dog. We work from memory and intuition to get going. But then bring a freshness to your knowing of this pose today. Breathe in such a way that the breath actually helps to clarify your perception. It's not just effort. And there's no need to get super subtle or fancy. Is the weight distributed evenly on my palms? Are my arms extending evenly? Is one arm more dominant than the other? Can I balance that out? What about my feet, my legs? Are my feet grounded evenly? Is there more weight on one foot than the other? Can I bring symmetry to that action? Are the legs drawn up? Are you stuck in the past or the future? Can I coordinate my breath and my limbs so that my spinal column feels extended, open? The torso feels not just long, but wide in the front and the back. So bring a freshness to your curiosity about today's dog pose. And come down and take a rest. As Iyengar practitioners, we often like to be told to move the southwest corner of the inner armpit to the northeast and all these subtle things that may or may not be useful. But however you use your muscles, how is it affecting your joints? Are you collapsing on a joint? Are you crunching a joint? Can create space in your joint. Uttanasana with head support. Standing forward bend. Or forward fold, as the kids call it these days. If you want to call it a forward fold, the fold is in the crease of the groin, the extension of the groin. So again, check the feet. And you have to find out what your habit is. Like for me, I tend to collapse my outer right arch almost every time. So I have to bring an intentional awareness to activating my right foot a little more. So my right and left foot are working together. Then the legs are drawn up. Breathe. Is there any place where I feel like I'm contracting my spine? How can I lengthen my spine? The front of the spine. So there's no sense of pushing backwards, especially in the upper thoracic where the back naturally rounds in uttanasana. The breath should give clarity and energy. It shouldn't fatigue you. bringing a freshness to today's uttanasana. And gradually come to Tadasana. Just wait there. Letting the circulation equalize. So, you stood up in Tadasana. Are you still here? Did the mind go to the past or the future? Coming to the breath always brings you into the present moment. The only breath you can actually know is the one you're breathing. Wide stance forward bend, prasarita padotanasana. Take head support if your head does not go to the floor. Enjoy if your back is aching, just listen to your back rather than to me, okay? Right? If your yoga teacher tells you to do something, but your body says, no, you should listen to your body. Probably. All right. Take the head down to your capacity. So, doing, receiving, posing, reposing, he called it. Iyengar called it. If you're working strongly in a certain area, refine that so it's not aggressive, it's firm. Where can I release so my breath can flow freely without losing the length of my inner spine, without keeping my brain and my sense gates relaxed? Then come to concave spine, wait there. Now, if you want to try and stand up at that wide stance, firmly grip the outer legs into the bone, the hips into the socket as you stand up. If you need to heel toe in a step or two, that's always acceptable. Then boogie your way back to Tadasana, heel toe, heel toe. We used to jump back into Tadasana, but not so much anymore. The only thing that's jumping in my poses these days is my mind. Jumping from here to there. All right. Salamba sirsasana, headstand, or take another head-supported forward bend. If you've already done the wide stance and you want to do uttanasana or down dog with head support, Or take sirsasana if you can. Or you can do headstand base with the arms, but head off the floor, so you don't bear weight on your neck. Sometimes called, I don't know how it got that name, but it used to be called dolphin pose. Not really sure why. So. So, there's always weight on the head, sometimes more, sometimes less. We can adjust that by how much grounding we do through the forearms. But let the weight on the head just be there. You don't have to you don't have to push your skull into the floor. You don't have to plant your head. And you can adjust how much weight is on my head by grounding the forearms, drawing the upper arms up into the socket, and then of course lifting and widening the shoulder blades. So there's some weight on the head, maybe more, maybe less, but never is there any weight being borne by your neck. The inner back muscles should engage so they come in contact with the back rib, so you're not leaning against the skin. Bring the skin toward the rib cage without pushing your sternum or chest forward, though. Find the middle ground between activating the inner back muscles to ascend off the neck without needing to push the chest forward. You're not trying to push the spine into the body. You're just stabilizing it with the inner back muscles. And then the side of the torso ascends. So you don't have to work that much from the spine directly. All these things are suggestions. A lot of it is, there's not a lot of movement, but there's energetic work that you want to integrate, coordinate. If you need to come down, that's fine. You can go up one more time. Some people have different abilities, of course. Those of you who can stay in the pose, go to padotanasana legs, or remain. Join the feet accurately, though, as if they're doing namaste. Put a little more pressure through the outer heel, and have a sense of extending from the center arch through the toes like you do in Tadasana. Allow the knees to move very subtly forward so the root of the thigh goes deeper to the socket. And either re-extend the legs or take the legs wide to Upavista Konasana variation. Very compact outer leg to the socket. Reascend the shoulders off the neck. Keep the inner back muscles engaged. And then go back up to sirsasana. Wait there a few breaths. Stabilize your base. And then the breath. Breathe as you come out of the pose, so you're not holding any pressure in your brain. Rest with your head down, if you were in the upside down head balance. Then take supta virassana. Use height if you need it. If you don't need height, that's fine. So Betsy, are you aware? If you're not aware, raise your hand. Supta virassana. Sitting between your heels, lying back. If you can't do supta virassana due to whatever limitation, you can do supta padotanasana. You want to have enough height, those of you who need height, and most people do, so that you actually feel like you can rest on the back support. More and more, the lower part of the back of the rib cage is resting on the back support. So initially, there's a tendency to grip the lower ribs toward the spine, especially the last 3 or 4, the floating ribs. So gradually invite that grip to release while extending from the floating rib to the sit bones. Relax the abdominal and pelvic organs under the stretch of your abdominal wall. So there's no sense of the abdominal wall gripping the abdominal organs. And then integrate your breathing. And those of you who do pranayama more regularly, as you're mindful of the breath in the pose, it'll really tell you whether the spine is symmetrical or there's a little twist, a little rotation, a little unevenness on the right side, left side. So the breath is a wonderful tool to refine the posture itself. So the breath can flow more evenly and rhythmically. Janet, your head's tilted too far back. I would recommend a little more head support so your forehead isn't tilted back like that. You want your forehead to tilt gently downward toward your brows. So I would take a little extra height behind the very back of your skull. Gradually sit up out of supta virassana. How does it affect your mind? Thank God that's over? Or, oh, I wish we could have stayed longer. Somewhere in between. Okay. Extend your happy legs. Okay, this has been the pose of the week lately. We're going to take viparita dandasana in your yoga chair if you can. But we're going to add a blanket roll. Okay, not a Tootsie Roll, but a blanket roll. Okay. Oh, I used to love Tootsie Rolls.
Me too.
So William,
Yes, please.
you froze when you were giving instructions. Could you repeat them, please?
About what? Oh, viparita dandasana in the chair just now?
Oh, that's what we're doing. Okay, I didn't hear that
Yeah.
part. Okay.
Okay. So
Okay. Gotcha.
you take the blanket, and I like to roll it from the fringed edge, right, in. So I make a little, it's my British yoga teacher. I had one British yoga teacher once, and for one class, she said, you roll it into a proper sausage. The late, great grande dame of British yoga, Diana Clifton, lived to be 95, started studying with Guruji in 1959.
Wow.
She came to Berkeley when I was at the yoga school, and I got to take a class from her. She's the one who coined the phrase that I use sometimes. It's nice, isn't it? It's nice. Isn't that nice? So you have your blanket roll, and you're actually going to sit on it, as the Fonz used to say, right? Did Fonzie say that? I don't know. So you want the blanket.
Yeah.
The pelvis is completely on the blanket, okay? So scooch a little farther back maybe than normal, and then center your back. Now this is going to raise the pelvis. So you might need more height, a little height under your feet. I don't know. And then you bend, arch back over that blanket roll the way we usually do. You can start with the arms inside the chair or over the head, whatever works for you. Some people like to take the arms over right away, which is fine. Under and inside. So you might not know if you need height under the feet until you go back. You can also do slightly bent knees. Strong tuck with the thighs rolling in and grounding deep down.
William, this is Joy. Can you please virtually assist me with the double bolsters?
I will. Virtually assist you. All right.
Virtually assisting me, thank you.
So I can see you have your cross bolsters, right?
Correct.
That is correct.
That is correct.
Okay. I will be with you in about 20 seconds. Okay. So I have my cross bolsters. Yeah. And then sitting on the lower edge, bent knees. tucking a little bit as you dome back, but you don't slide off into bridge pose onto the shoulders. You let the back of the very top of the back of the skull touch. And you can keep your knees bent, feet on the floor joint if your lower back is an issue, and tuck, or you can extend your legs. Okie dokie.
Okie dokie 10-4 signing off.
Copy that. Now so you have a little extra height under the pelvis, which takes some of the arch out of the lumbar. Extend the sternum away from the navel. Be careful not to push the chest toward the roll. Extend off the roll. So as you lengthen the sternum, the arch, you're creating space to bring the thoracic spine along with you. Shins in a little bit. Mula Bandha, Suzanne. Add the arms at any time if you want to do that variation. But now recharge the grounding of the femur. So the dome is coming from that stable intelligence of the pose. Okay. And then gradually dome up out of the pose. And wait there a bit. Twist to the right. Yeah, that was good, Joy. Christiana, that's a great setup. Good thinking. Right, using your halasana bench. Wow, that's great. Open the collarbones, drop the shoulders, elbows away from the body. Turn and lift from your left lumbar floating rib. Now keep the twist, but very gently turn your head to the left. You don't have to try to look completely over the left shoulder. But now, ascend that left waist lumbar and turn a little more using your arms. As you pull with your left hand, bend the right elbow to take that shoulder back and down. Lovely. And then Iyengar used to say, now the left armpit chest is shy. Your left armpit chest should become an extrovert. And release. Go to the center, wait there. Then gently turn to the other side. Arms to elbows, collarbones wide, elbows away from the torso. Now from the right lumbar floating rib, you ascend to turn. Of course, the right shoulder always wants to help out too much, so keep it down. And now the right armpit chest should become an extrovert. You would use words like coil or spiral the armpit chest. Lovely. Turn the head gently to the right, not aggressively. Maintain the rotation. You don't have to look completely over the right shoulder. When you turn your head to the right, however, the left shoulder should go farther back. Bend that elbow. Go ahead and lean into it a little. Take that arm way to the outer chair, Leah. There you go. Yeah. As creepy as it sounds, I am watching you. Okay. And then come out of that.
Happy pose.
sarvangasana. Otherwise known as shoulder stretch. Freestanding or with your prop, whatever works for you today.
William, what's the best way
Yes,
to do
please.
this? Yeah, how do you do it with a chair assist?
I will show you. All right, hang on. So you have your chair. Now, you're going to slide off of this eventually, so put a blanket down in front of the chair and then your bolster on top of that. And the bolster is a few inches away from the legs of the chair. It's not right up against it. Then you sit sideways, swing your legs up over the back of the chair, scoot your hips in a bit, hold the chair, arch your back a little, and you have to release the knees to slide the hips and shoulders down. Pelvis stays on the chair. And you extend the legs. Yeah, looks good, Dan. You got it. Dome the chest a little bit. Nice. Okay. And the thing about resting, starting by resting in awareness, then you can hopefully choose or intentionally direct your attention into wherever you'd like your attention to go. You can intentionally direct your attention to the asana rather than just drifting around. And the awareness is knowing what the attention is attending to. With Western psychological terms, it's called metacognitive awareness. You know what you're knowing. So I'm intentionally aware of my legs. How are they working? Is one leg even? Are the one leg different from the other? Especially in the shoulders. Am I on one side more than the other? Does it feel normal just because it's habitual? So that's another point to check out. Sometimes you have to deliberately ground one arm or shoulder more to see, I actually wasn't grounding that shoulder. It just felt normal to be more on one side than the other. So that's the kind of exploration to bring to your practice. So you're bringing that freshness to the awareness of the pose today. Bring the legs to padotanasana. Again, join the feet as if you're doing namaste with your feet, with a little more emphasis on the outer heel. Keep the dome in the chest. If you're on the chair, you can rest your feet on the back of the chair in padotanasana. Then from padotanasana, if you can, take the legs wide to go to supta, the wide version of plow pose. If that's not doable, just bring the legs together and go to plow pose the regular way. So you take halasana from the wide stance, or go back, bring the legs together to take halasana, whatever you can do. And then if you can, take the legs into supta from there, wide stance.
Since I fell, may I ask a question?
You just did.
When I'm in padotanasana, like that, how should my hips be? They wanna like tilt a little bit, but should I try and untilt them? I lost my balance, basically.
Yeah, so you were doing freestanding shoulder stand, yeah?
Yes.
When you take padotanasana, the pelvis should be neutral.
Okay.
In other words, the tendency is for it to tilt back too much.
Yeah.
So you want to, another way to say it, the pelvic floor should be parallel to the ceiling. Just like the pelvic floor would be parallel to the floor in Tadasana. Okay? That same thing when the legs go wide. All right, everybody's in the pose while I'm helping out Patty. All right, come out of that happy pose. Bring the legs back together. If you're still with me, take the arms over the head with the palms up. If you need to roll down and come out or slide off the chair, do that. So not to get too snarky about it, but some of this is on you. You need to experiment with this pose in your whole practice and find out ways that work for you and what sort of setups you need, right? Especially in Zoom yoga, because as much as I wish, I can't come around and give you a personal assist or recommendation as much as I'd like. All right, everybody come out of the pose. Right? Remember the good old days when your yoga teacher would stick their knee between your shoulder blades? I don't even know if we'll be able to do that anymore. It's not PC. Or I could just go old school Iyengar and yell at all of you. You're not one is doing. You can enjoy that. All right. Now we're going to take Setubandha. Setubandha on a height, but I want you to set up a Setubandha so you can stay for 5 minutes. Right? So if you need to have your feet parallel, level with your hips, do that. Do it on a block or a bolster. I can show. And one of the benefits of our modern era is all of these poses can be researched online with various prop setups that you can play with.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to take a bolster, I might have another bolster for my legs, right? Or a stack of blankets. Right? Some of you are very comfortable with the block under the hips, so go ahead and do that. Now I have a really old bolster that's kind of flattened out, so I always add a little extra height. And then I externally rotate my arms as I slide off, onto the top of my shoulders, tuck them in, and then I extend my legs. If you need to keep your knees bent and feet on your bolster or the floor to keep your lumbar happy, of course you should do that. Those of you who can extend the legs, do that. Uttanasana, feet and legs. When you tuck your shoulders under to come on top of your shoulders, be careful that you don't collapse the chest. Keep the chest moving gently toward the head, even as you're tucking the top shoulder trapezius under. So keeping somewhat with our theme here, Betsy, you are aware, but what are you aware of? What are you paying attention to? Because the mind is very good at playing tricks. You can say, I am resting in awareness, but actually you're not really paying attention to anything. You're just kind of lost in space, so to speak. Now, if you've been practicing for quite some time, years or decades, the pose may be very, very comfortable. And in that case, you can just be present and rest in open awareness. It doesn't mean you drift off. But you don't have to do the pose that much. You can be almost more totally receptive to the pose. And then inevitably, the body's going to say, by the way, please adjust here. And then gradually slide off the bolster or lift off your block and rest. Release the lower back. Okay, I hope you're not on a diet, because for dessert, the dessert pose for today is viparita karani. Of course, maybe that's not your favorite dessert, but what can I say?
Okay, so.
So the yogis are always cautioning us about resting in awareness doesn't mean spacing out and dissociating. In fact, theoretically, it makes you more responsive and receptive to the present moment in a skillful and compassionate way. Right? Otherwise, you can be really good at yoga poses and still be a jerk. It's not a one-to-one relationship. So find a comfortable viparita karani. Get a really nice setu bandha in the pose, in the upper torso, upper chest. And the pelvis should actually have a sense of slightly tipping off the back edge of the bolster. So the pubic bone, the structural aspect of this pose is that the lake, the karani, the bowl of the pelvis, the pubic plate should not be higher than the navel. So if you need to move away from the wall a little bit and slightly untuck the pelvis, you should do that. Not everybody's legs are going to completely touch the wall. And then the bowl of the pelvis softens, descends, breath by breath. The organs release under the bowl of the pelvis and the abdominal wall. So doing the posture, especially these supported postures with longer holds, may not be as challenging physically, but the work is more on refining and sustaining your mindfulness, your presence of mind in the body and breath. And then just like the sitting meditation practice, inevitably the mind gets distracted, but you will also wake up from that distraction automatically, spontaneously. And then just recognize awareness, come home to the breath. And there you are. And then we bring the spine, the limbs back to neutral in Shavasana. You did, okay. Where are you going now? Shavasana. So sometimes people wonder, why do I need to do Shavasana after viparita karani? Just to bring the body to neutral for a little while after the slight back arch. I hope you enjoyed your dessert. Carry through the momentum of the quiet pose into your Shavasana. Here's a little poem from Hafiz, a great poet, Sufi poet. Now is the time to know that all you do is sacred. Now, why not consider a lasting truth with yourself and God? Now is the time to understand that all your ideas of right and wrong were just a child's training wheels to be laid aside when you can finally live with veracity and love. Hafiz is a divine envoy whom the Beloved has written a holy message upon. My dear, please tell me, why do you still throw sticks at your heart and God? What is it in that sweet voice inside that incites you to fear? Now is the time for the world to know that every thought and action is sacred. This is the time for you to deeply compute the impossibility that there is anything but grace. Now is the season to know that everything you do is sacred. Dedicating the merit of our practice, sharing it freely with all beings everywhere. May all beings be safe, protected, healthy, and strong, content and joyful in this life, just as it is. Om
Pranamada, Pranasya Panamadaya Panameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Hari Om.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Have a good Shabbos. See you in the future.
Thank you, William.
William. Honey, you took your hat off.
I had for headstand.
Oh, okay, right.
What do you think, Dee? Am I okay?
Looks great.
Thank you.
Now, Suzanne, don't tell V, but that was disturbingly like a restorative class.
I know, it truly was, yes.
Hey, William,
I sort of snuck that in. Yeah, Catherine, yeah.
my teacher, you were talking about awareness.
talks
Yeah.
about noticing.
Yeah.
Noticing.
Yeah.
With
Awareness knowing itself. Yeah.
Noticing.
I like that. Thank you.
Okay.
They also say awareness relaxes into itself. And if that makes your mind go tilt, all the better.
Have a good day.
Have a good day. All right.
William, I have a question.
Good job, this William.
Please, Dan, what's your query?
I just tell us the name of that poem again. That was just beautiful.
Oh, well, it's called Now is the Time. It's in this book called The Gift by Hafiz, a wonderful collection of Hafiz poems. You can probably Google it. The title of the poem is Now is the Time.
Okay, good. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, William, where's Kalyani? I haven't seen her for a while.
Oh, she's around.
She just didn't deign to pay you a visit then.
She came in earlier today. I don't know where she is right now. I have this laundry basket.
Yeah.
And I brought it up one time. Our laundry's in the basement. I brought it up, and there was this blanket in it. And now she has taken over that as her go-to cat nap place. So we just leave that out for her now.
Okay.
And she teaches us how to relax.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. All right, peace.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Hey,
William.
Christiana, I just loved that setup you had. That was cool.
It's, how many years have I been it's been like, what? I guess a full year I've been dinking around trying to figure it out. Now I got to figure out virassana. It's still really hard today. I don't know why. I'm just going to keep moving.
Yeah, well.
But thank you.
Wouldn't it be boring if it was easy?
Thank you.
All right, Smadar, be well, my dear.
Thank you.
Send us
Take
snow.
care, everybody.
Yeah, send us snow. We need.
Send you some
Anything.
snow in San Francisco?
Yes, please. It's
Yeah,
very
good luck
dry
with that.
here.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
we'll pray for rain. How's that?
That would be great as well. We really need it.
Okay. Dharma Mega Samadhi, Betsy. The rain cloud of virtue. You know
Oh,
that
there's a
phrase from
cat.
the yoga? You know that phrase from the Yoga Sutra? Dharma Mega Samadhi.
No.
MEGHA.
Uh-uh.
The rain cloud of virtue and the knowledge of all things.
Okay.
Ooh, look it up.
I will.
It's a somewhat technical term, but it's a lovely way of looking at it. All right. Bye-bye, Betsy.
Thank you, William.